What's up, people? Welcome back to another episode of Stars and Garters. I'm Keith Pettit, and today, just so you know, I worked pretty hard on this one. Not really, just took me a long time to think out, but I had to think for a long time, and I had to, actually challenge myself a little bit because I had a little bit of a fun idea, special little Marvel idea, and hopefully I'll do it for other things because it's pretty fun. But I decided, since I do love Marvel and it takes a lot for me to get mad at a Marvel movie, um, I decided to, challenge myself a little bit because I'm going to go through every major MCU movie, and I'm going to say one pro and one con. Which the rules for this are that I have to only pick one pro and one con, even if I really loved it or really did not. Just like the best thing and the worst thing about it, I guess. I can't say more, and I also can't say but. So if I really liked a movie, I cannot go back on my con, even if I really want to. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm gonna have a little trouble with that one. But yeah, we're gonna go through every MCU movie, and that's every one, like, not including TV shows, not including, the weird special things, like whatever Werewolf by Night and, well, Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas thing was. None of those. Um, just the major movies. But, all that said, let's get into this. Alright, so the first one, and this is all in chronological order, so like MCU order, not release order. So the first one with those rules would be Captain America: The First Avenger. Now, for me, the pro is that it sets up a lot of very important characters, Cap, Peggy, Bucky, whatnot, in a very good way. They do that very well. The pro, on the other hand, is that it's a little slow for me. It did not hold my attention great, just a little kind of slow. The next movie in line chronologically is Captain Marvel, a contentious little movie. The pro is that I think it was very well done and engaging story just about Captain Marvel, and that worked for me. The con, no more pros. The con is that even I can admit that Captain Marvel is like low key unlikable. She's kind of a jerk. I will admit to that. Next in line, we have Iron Man, the first Iron Man. The pro is that it works very well as an origin story, does exactly its job. The con, Rhodey is not Rhodey. I'm guessing this is Rhodey before he was replaced by the Skrulls, because obviously he's quite different, and it throws me off a little bit, and I like Don Cheadle better anyway. Next, Iron Man 2. Pro, great solo movie for Tony. Con, barely matters for the rest of the universe. Next, we have The Incredible Hulk, which I did not watch, so I can't really say anything. So next one. Next one is Thor. Pro, I think it introduces one of the most likable cast of characters in the MCU. Very easy to root for all of these guys, even Loki. However, con, the tone can't really pick a side between like being dark and gritty and being a comedy. No buts, no buts, no buts. Next, we have big one, the Avengers. So pro, I said, this had a lot to pull off. There was a lot riding on this movie, and it managed to satisfy everyone and kind of live up to expectations as far as I'm concerned. Con, to be completely honest, Loki, now knowing what we know and just in the movie, like, he's not the best villain. Kind of basic and, a little over the top maybe. Both of those things, which shouldn't go together, but he's just not the best villain. Alright, next, Thor Dark World. Pro, I like it when Frigga dies. I think that's a good scene. Not because I don't like her. I mean, I don't like really care about her that much, but I just like the part where she dies. I just like the scene, you know. I'm not no beef with Frigga. Con though, it was kind of boring. Just I was not interested in this movie. It was a little boring. Right, next, Iron Man 3. The Mandarin twist is awesome, and it was done super well, and it blew all of our minds. And I think it was a very good choice as well. Um, Con, I feel like this one was actually kind of hard to do a con. I liked this one. I feel like Pepper should have done more. I feel like she had an important role, but she could have like just done more stuff, considering that she should have been really important. No buts, no buts, no buts. Next, we have Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Cap and Bucky's relationship is great here. It's very well explored, and everything about it is done very well. However, the plot is just a little bit like much. It's a lot of things. It's a little bit hard to keep track of sometimes. Alright, next, Guardians of the Galaxy. Everyone in the crew is just an awesome, well done character. Honestly, like everyone. Every single one of them. Rocket needs to watch his mouth. Rocket, I know it's a part of his character. You could use different words, though. So, next, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yondu's death like hit different. It was so well done, and it was very important and meaningful, and it was just very like very well done, honestly. Again, I really like Yondu. Like, there's no beef with Yondu. It's just like really well done. On the other hand, Khan, I can admit that Ego, the living planet, got a bit out there. It was a little weird. Alright. Next, we have another big one, Avengers Age of Ultron. It was kind of hard to pick a pro for this one, honestly, because I think there's a lot of pros to this one. I really like this movie. But, you know, for me personally, the biggest pro is that it introduces Scarlet Witch, and she's one of my favorite characters. I know out of all the things with this movie, I picked that as the pro. But seriously, I really like Scarlet Witch. So the movie that introduces her is, you know, obviously a big pro. However, the con is at some points I didn't really know what they were trying to tell me with the story. Didn't know if there was a message, and if there was, I was a little confused on what exactly they were trying to point out. But nope, nothing else. That's the con, and we're gonna go to the next one, which is Ant-Man. Alright, this movie is like a very nice change of pace, because the other ones can, you know, they're a little bit more serious. This one's a little bit more lighthearted, kind of more friendly tone, and just a little more chill, I guess. Scott should probably not be a superhero. Like, he does all his stuff, like he's superheroes, but he's just like that man is not made for it. Like, he just shouldn't be one. Next up, a very important movie, Captain America: Civil War. So, everything about, I'm not saying everything. I'm not allowed to say that. I think in my rules, I didn't say that, but whatever. The pro is that everything about the movie was very important, and like changed the MCU, and just made a lot of like big difference in the MCU, and just like mattered a lot. Con, it was really hard to find a con, but I'm gonna say maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I'm still not sure how they exactly resolved the whole thing with the government, because as far as I know, they are all out of jail, but they can still be superheroes, so not really sure how that went down. Moving on. I don't like the no buts rule, you guys. Moving on to Black Widow, the next one. The biggest pro for me is that Yelena exists, and this movie made that happen. So that's excellent. I love that. And con, I, you know, I'm not usually stickler for plot stuff, but I had to say a con, so I guess, yeah, she probably definitely should have died when she put the stick in the thing and it blew up. I'm not really sure how she lived there. Next one. Next one is Doctor Strange. Pro. Awesome character development. One of the best done solo movies with the character growing and changing and whatnot. Con, it just gets like oddly dark sometimes. Not usually, it's not like always a problem to go dark, but like it's kind of, they don't do it smoothly, I would say, sometimes. Alright, next one, Black Panther. Pro, the story, like all of it, is highly intriguing, like very engaging. Yeah. But the con, okay, I don't know if this is cheating for a con, but like Killmonger deserved better. Justice for Killmonger. Next. We have Spider-Man Homecoming, one of my favorites. Pro, it gives us Spider-Man, like it just gives us Spider-Man as like the relatable neurotic kid that he was in the comics, and kind of does really well with that. Something that the other Spider-Man movies didn't do great. But con, I guess I have to say something. Those are the rules. I don't think he really has any reason to like Liz. Is that her name? I don't even remember her name. She seems kind of lame, and he obviously could do better, and he did do better, so don't really know why she's there. Next, okay. This one was really hard to find a con for, and I might have cheated a little bit as well. Next one is Thor Ragnarok. Pro, probably the funniest movie in the entire MCU. Con, I said the con of this movie is that it led to Thor Love and Thunder. So I don't know if that's cheating, but honestly, there's not a lot I don't like about this movie, and I realized that was a but, so I'm sorry. Next, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. Pro, I think Scott and Cassie's relationship is awesome, and it's very well showcased here. It's one of my favorite relationships. He might not be a good superhero, but he's a really good dad, kind of. Con. I said, how the heck did Janet talk to him through a dream? I liked this movie, so like that's a really small thing, but that was pretty weird. That was like the weirdest part. Still not clear on how that worked. And moving on, because I can't say that word in the rules. Next, we have real big movie, Avengers Infinity War. Oh no. Okay, fun fact, I didn't actually write a con for this one, so we're gonna figure out one on the spot. Pro, everything in this movie was made like so much better by having them lose, I think. Great choice. Con, oh, Thanos is stupid. His plan is ridiculous, and I don't really understand how he thinks he's gonna accomplish anything by it. But no, dang it. This is really hard. Okay. Next, we have huge movie, probably the biggest one in the MCU. Avengers Endgame, definitely the longest. Pro of Endgame, it paid off like literally everything the entire MCU had been leading up to at this point. And it did that great. And I, since I have to say a con, even though, I'm not gonna say, okay, I'm just gonna say it. Con, fine, whatever. The time travel doesn't make the most sense. And that's all I can say about that. Alright, Next. So now we're into post-endgame territory where it might be a little harder to find pros. Not for a lot of these, though. The next one we have is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Pro, I think it has some of the coolest fights in the whole MCU because of, like, of the ways it's different from the other movies. It ends up having some real cool fights that you don't really expect from the MCU. In some ways. Some ways it's very MCU. Con, it was a little goofy here and there. A little bit. Next, we have Spider-Man Far From Home. And the pro for that one was like a very good and realistic depiction of the aftermath of Endgame, especially like with Peter himself and how he is dealing with that. Con, you did not fool anyone with the Mysterio thing. That was just, if you've heard of Mysterio once before, you knew he was a bad guy. So didn't really fool anyone with that. Okay. Next one, very, very hard for me to find a con because it's my favorite movie in the whole MCU. We have Spider-Man No Way Home. Pro, basically the Spider-Man's fan dream from start to finish. And for my con, I did say, why does Ned have magic? Wasn't really explained. Mm-hmm. And that's all I have to say about that. Next, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Pro, really fun cameos. We get to see a lot of exciting people. Kind of hard to pick just one con if I'm completely honest here. But I went with, this is a horror movie and you didn't tell us. There was no, it's not horror elements. This was a horror movie. And you did not let us know that. So, unpleasant surprise there. Next one is Eternals, but I didn't watch that because it looked awful. After that was Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which I kind of want to watch because good for Shuri. I like her, but I also didn't watch that, so I can't really say anything right now. But the next one, Thor Love and Thunder, which I didn't watch, unfortunately. Pro, I tried, I reached, and I came up with the Screaming Goats. I do love them. They are excellent. Probably the best part of this movie. Out of the many cons, the one that bothered me the most, I went with just a really annoying amount of woke and iffy messaging through it. That just sucked. So, yeah. Next, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Pro, Scott Lang remains Scott Lang, even in this craziness of a plot. His character still is very strong. Con, I went with, oh my gosh, MODOK. Like, what the heck was that? That was rough, you guys. You tried something and it just exploded in your face. So, and the next one, we have Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Great movie, I thought. Pro, it just, all of the Guardians, it brought their, like, stories together in just a really nice, like, satisfying and sensical way. Con, it can possibly scar you with a couple of things. Not just, like, one moment, there's a couple of things that can haunt you a little bit. I don't think I slept after I watched this movie. Not even scary, just like haunting. And this brings us to the last, as of now. Obviously, there's gonna be a buttload more if they can get themselves together. But the last one, the last Marvel movie thus far, we have the Marvels. Pro, the main protagonist, the main three, and even Nick, I would say, they actually like grow quite a bit in some really good ways. And Captain Marvel becomes more likable. Kamala gets a little less naive, and then Marie what's her name? Photon, because I forgot her name. she grows as well in some way that I forgot a little bit. Khan, I literally like can just barely remember the villain's name. It took me a long time. It's Darben, but I almost forgot it because she's very forgettable and she barely matters at all. That's it. That's all of them. I'm glad this one ended up going a little longer. Because it gives me that I like that more than if it would have been short. Um, but yeah, I have done it. I accomplished saying one good thing, one bad thing about every movie, even said bad things about my favorites and good things about the worst ones, in my opinion. Uh, and I did it. And I did okay on not saying but. So, um, yeah, that's it. Uh, Tell me if you guys like, I don't know. You could tell me one good thing and one bad thing about the whole MCU. How about that? Tell me one good thing and one bad thing about the whole MCU. Whether or not you hate it or you love it. One good thing only and one bad thing only. Don't use conjunctions, that's cheating. Um, and no buts for you either. Just stick with it. Alright, thanks for listening or watching or both. I guess if you watch, you have to listen. Because it would be weird if you were just sitting there looking at my mouth move for 20 minutes. Anyway, thanks for whatever you did, even if you are a little weirdo like that. Follow, subscribe, comment, do the things, answer the questions. Like, share. That's the important one. Do that. And I will see you guys next time.